very gracious. You're a terrific audience, and my father's place remains one of our favorite places to play. Thank you so much. Now, we do have one more song we could indeed do, if you'd like to.
Yeah!
But you won't be entirely astonished to learn that it is a song that comes with just a little bit of a story attached. So, you know, relax, the night is young. So, here's the story. And it's, again, slightly complicated, but I'll try and keep it all in simple. Go back to the moment James and I leave Apple, James Taylor and I leave Apple, Apple's falling apart. We moved to America, getting ready to make James Taylor's second album. The first one for Warner Bros. And one of the people I really wanted to meet when I got to LA, for various reasons, was a songwriter I held in the very highest regard by the name of Carole King. You know, this was the very first iteration of Carol's career. She wasn't an artist yet, but she had started, of course, as a songwriter entirely for other artists. And she, don't forget, she and Jerry Goffin wrote Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow when Carol was 18, and it was a hit for the Shirelles all over the world. Then they wrote Up on the Roof for the Drifters, and The Locomotion for Little Eva, and I'm Into Something Good for Herman's Hermits, and Chains for the Cookies that the Beatles did, and Natural Woman for Aretha Franklin, and I mean, it's a crazy list. You look it up. So I wanted to meet Carol for that reason and another reason. I now heard her demos, just Carol and the piano demos of all these great songs, and I loved her piano playing. So luckily, my friend Danny Korchmar, who introduced me to James, also knew Carol very well. So when I got to LA, I got to meet Carol. I did a bit of fan groveling to start with, because I felt that way about her, and I still do. And she's amazing. And I also said, Carol, listen, I have a big favor to ask of you. I'm about to make the second album with this guy called James Taylor, you probably don't know about yet. She didn't. And I said, I think your piano playing would be perfect. I wondered if you'd consider, even though I know you're a big deal songwriter, and I know you're about to make your own solo record as a singer-songwriter yourself, would you consider doing a week's work for me just as a studio player, just getting scale and stuff? But I think you and James would like each other. And she agreed, very kindly to do it, came over to my house where James was staying, they met, they sat down, I had them play together, and it sounded great. And it was great. And if you ever look at that album, the album called Sweet Baby James, you'll notice that Carol played piano on every song on that record and played it beautifully. So when the record came out, it became a huge hit, and James's career took off like lightning. We owed a week of gigs to this place, the Troubadour Club in LA. And I decided that this should be the gig where James played for the first time live with the band. Because up to that point, he'd just been a solo folkie. So I asked all the musicians who played on the record if they could do the week at the Troubadour, including Carol. And she graciously said yes, she'd be happy to. And then James had a further idea. He said to Carol, look, if you just play piano in my little band at the Troubadour, no one will know who you are. They'll think you're just this little girl playing piano in the band, which is what she looks like. She looks like a teenager. And he said, why don't you do a little opening set? Since you're planning to become an artist yourself, a performer, give it a try, Come out there, just do like 5 or 6 of the songs that everybody knows, and tell people you wrote them. It'll blow their minds. And it did. So Carol agreed to do that. And on the opening day of the Troubadour, Carol was admittedly quite scared. It was her first public performance as an artist. And so James and I, after we did our sound check that afternoon, we decided to stick around to give Carol moral support. So we went out and sat in the balcony of the Troubadour Club. Carol was alone on the stage with a big grand piano, just like this one, and doing her sound check. And for the purposes of her sound check, she decided to run through a song she had finished just the night before. So that's how it came to be that James and I sat in the Troubadour that night, that afternoon, watching Carol play and sing a brand new Carole King song called You've Got a Friend. And James and I looked at each other and kind of went, shit, what was that? And James said at the time, and still believes, it was one of the best pop songs ever written. And so much so that he said to Carol, I like that song so much, would you mind if I learned it? She said, no, of course, it'd be flattering. So she taught him the song. and he started working up his James Taylor version with his little guitar extras and stuff that made it sound like his. And I was very impressed by this. So it fell to me a couple of days later to say to Carol, look, I have an even more ridiculous favor to ask, because James's version of You've Got a Friend is kind of different than the way you do it. And it's pretty cool. You know, I know you're going to put it on your own album you're about to make, but would you consider letting us record it as well? And Carol, breaking all the normal rules of show business where you keep your hits to yourself, said, of course, you know, I'd be happy to have James do it. So that's how it came to pass that within a week of each other, I was producing at one studio in LA our version of You've Got a Friend, using just Danny Korchmar and a drummer called Russ Kunkel, Lee Sklar, the bass player, and we recorded it. Oh, I did have one other secret weapon, excuse me, which was that James's girlfriend at the time, Joni Mitchell, was with us in the studio. So I asked Joni if she would sing all the background parts. So if you listen to the record of You've Got a Friend, that's why they sound so beautiful, all those backgrounds of Joni Mitchell. Meanwhile, a week later, Carole King's brilliant producer, Lou Adler, was doing her version of You've Got a Friend at another studio only a few blocks away. Very unusual situation. And the miracle is that out of all that came success, that everyone came out a winner, because you might recall James's version, the one I produced, became a #1 hit single all over the world. Carol's version became a key track on her extraordinary album, Tapestry, which broke all kinds of records and outsold every other singer-songwriter album. So everyone came out a winner. Now, Jeremy and I were talking about this story, and the fact that it was quite unusual, and we both came to the same conclusion, which seemed logical to us, which is that if there are clearly already two extremely good, highly respected, almost kind of definitive versions of a song like You've Got a Friend, what that really means is the world must be crying out for yet one more version. So we thought we'd go back to the way, in many respects, the way I very first heard this tune. Just a grand piano and a couple of singers and a great song.
When you're down and trouble and you need a helping hand, and nothing, oh nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend. If the sky high above you should grow dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow, just keep your head together and call my name out loud, and soon I will come knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes, yeah, yeah. to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold. They'll hurt you,
Yes, and desert you.
they'll take your soul if you let them, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, yeah. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. You've got a friend.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.